Hello, welcome to the Dungeon Hour. Today we're going to tell you the wonderful story of our D&D encounter on what was called Pokémon Island. I'm Matt, and I was playing a kind of priest type elf character named Tyrande Whisperwind, for anyone who is a fan of World of Warcraft.
Shalom. It's James again. Hey, sup, guys? I was playing the Summoner, Rise Bell. He died. It was a good time.
Spoiler.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. It was coming.
Hello everyone, I'm Cody, and I was playing my Gambit-esque character named Ace. He threw cards at people. He also died.
Oh yeah, and you don't go spoiler after Cody? I see.
It's already done.
Yeah, the deed has been done.
And of course, popping in again, after being gone for a while. I'm Blake, and I was playing. For anybody who has an idea of Final Fantasy IV, it was something kind of like a mixture between a Dragoon and a Dark Knight. His name is Skylar. He just kind of used raw energy to attack people and stuff. It was interesting.
Yeah, definitely a cool character.
Until they died.
But that was not.
Yeah,
that luckily did not have to be this map, and got
Yeah.
to be something else slightly less disappointing.
I'm
Yes.
not sorry.
So to put this in context, if you've listened to any previous stories DM'd by a DM who we've kind of
Dumbo.
titled Dumbo, yes, he said he came over. He said, "Oh, I have this great idea for a game," and I think a lot of us kind of grew up on like the Pokemon games and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right?
Absolutely.
Pretty much.
So his idea was kind of incorporating Pokemon fusions, is it?
Yeah.
Into a Dungeons and Dragons game, and I think it didn't translate as well as he had thought.
Definitely not.
No, I
No.
mean, like, at this point, I took, like a good 5-month break off D&D.
Yeah.
I just didn't play for 5 months straight, and then I came back to this bullshit, and I was like, oh, that was fun. I'm gonna take another 2 months off. Bye.
Yeah, it certainly could have been ironed out a little better before it actually got, put through the way it was.
hmm
Well, let's get down to how it actually went.
Yeah. So it started as any good story in Dungeons and Dragons begins. In an inn, in a smoke-filled kind of tavern. Of course, we didn't get those details. We just go to this inn. We overhear some guy talking. I believe it was you overheard some guys talking.
Yeah, Skylar just happened to be the one who overheard somebody, and being a neutral evil character, he right away just kind of jumped in, no holds barred, and was like, "So what are you talking about over there?" And found out about this girl that was on said island full of monsters, unbeknownst to us. And they didn't want to go back on their own, considering how dangerous it was, so we kind of volunteered our services. Good old band of adventurers like we do.
Exactly. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
We don't remember the girl's name that was kind of left on said island, so we are calling her Beth. So effectively, the four of us now had a mission to go to this island and save Beth. Now, here's where things get kind of even sketchier. We're just thrown into this inn. We get this quest kind of haphazardly, and then all of a sudden we're on a boat and we're on the island. There's no sort of build up to this. I think we were talking about this beforehand, and I used the example of Jurassic Park. Like, it would be the same as, like, oh, there's this island with dinosaurs on it, and, oh, yeah, there they are, right? Like, there's no build up to this whatsoever. Just kind of thrown right into it.
Yeah, pretty much. It was like, all right, get on the ship. Go. Okay, you're here. Walk 5 feet into the tall grass. Oh, look, there's something. Go kill it.
Your first encounter.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, all boss level encounters.
Yeah. This was just basically a boss rush, kind of.
Yeah, boss rush the map.
Yeah.
Which was pretty brutal, given that every single one of these was, again, a fusion of multiple Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they were all required to be defeated to complete the map.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah, like we couldn't go like, yeah, we'll skip number 2 and then just continue on. No, it's like, no, I have to beat number 2. I don't care how much difficult he is. Just do it. Do it.
So, right from the get go, we encountered uh, something that really didn't need to be a thing.
Wait, what was that one? I forget.
Yeah, so that started out. It was a Blastoise mixed with a Magneton, and really, it had a bunch of very ridiculous electric wave and like magnet wave attacks of some kind, and it was almost impossible to damage,
Yeah.
being as a giant metallic turtle.
Yeah, that wasn't a fun fight.
I think the tough thing with this particular DM, and I think we mentioned it in the first video we put up, the Lord of the Rings campaign, was that he would get very angry when we would roll well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, he would almost punish us for doing well. So we took a bunch of damage in this fight,
Oh yeah.
and this was just the first fight.
He essentially he thinks if you're doing too well, he needs to either buff his boss or just like make them do ridiculous things out of the fucking blue
Mm-hmm.
because you're doing well. It's like, bruh, we're doing well. We're doing well. Unbeknownst to us, we had like fucking 6 more of these things to go through.
Yeah, really. I think we just kind of pummeled this thing down over time.
Yeah, we took some decent damage and we pummeled this thing down, but it took a while.
Well, I think the idea he had to make it easier was we were supposed to use magic, not physical things, but really with a healer and a summoner being our only forms of magic in this case.
I had one projectile spell. It's
Ex-
just lightning.
exactly.
Zip.
So between the two of them, we didn't have a whole lot of spells to cast, especially since our healer wanted to save their healing magic,
Yeah,
as a healer would. So
I'm a
that
good
was
healer, guys.
That was just really long and drawn out. Didn't need to be.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we dispatched with that, and we moved on to the next Pokemon fusion monstrosity, which was a mix of a Venusaur and a Beedrill.
Quite horrifying, actually.
And you know what? Beedrill's actually one of my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bee with drills for hands.
Which is amazing.
It's
It could fuck you up, James. It would easily kill you.
nah.
Nah.
Bee spray.
Favorite
Bee spray.
Bee spray.
You're dead.
favorite thing. I'm the person that definitely, if I were ever to use one in online competitions, I would probably just call it Giga. Just,
You know, at one point-
just as a tiny anime reference.
Like when it first got its Mega Evolution, it was competitive for a month.
for a month.
For a month.
Regardless, we're getting off topic.
Since this map happened quite some time ago, I'd say it's probably been like 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these fights are a little blurry. All I
Yeah.
know is that this one was shorter because it wasn't fucking metallic turtle.
Yeah.
It was plant bug, and we just slashed and beat the shit out of it. But we did take once again quite a bit of damage.
The thing with this DM though, with Dumbo the DM, I've always found in his maps that either we all start hitting the boss and he gets mad and buffs them, or we all start hitting the boss and then he's like, oh, they just die.
Yeah,
It's,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of the two extremes. It's never anything in the middle. So we killed that, and we moved on to...
Oh, it was the it was a. I know it either had something to do with like a Bootops or a Scyther, and I can't remember what it was, but we fought something with like scythe arms. I can't remember what he fucking fused it with, but it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It was essentially he made like this. Maybe it was one of the martial arts Pokemon, because I know it was fucking jumping
It was!
around and
It
like.
was-
It was the punching one.
It was
Yeah.
Hitmonchan. It was Hitmonchan and Kabutops, so it had like scythe fists basically,
Yeah.
and it was
Ah.
stupidly fast
Mm-hmm.
and hard to damage again because this one being a rock mixture,
Yeah.
big old beefy body again. So it was fast, it was strong, and it had scythes for hands. So
Yep.
of course, it's dealing a bunch of damage. We're taking a bunch of damage. What do we do there? Same thing we did with the turtle. Slowly beat the shit out of it and avoid it.
Yeah.
Best we could.
I think at this point, I would like to say that these are incredibly creative. Like, I think he got all of these from a website,
He did.
but these were all super creative and super interesting encounters. It's just the way that it was kind of gone about was very frustrating, considering how he would run the fights, as we've mentioned, getting angry when we would do damage. And the fact that there was really no strong motivation behind any of this, it's like, here, go to this island, kill this stuff.
Yeah.
There you go, have fun.
I
you
think
know?
these would have been amazing to run into solo, just out in the fucking world.
Yeah.
Could you imagine running into that Venusaur Beedrill while you're just walking through a forest?
Yeah.
You'd shit your fucking pants.
Or if, like, say you come across a town and they're being terrorized by this Blastoise Magneton or whatever it is, right? And you don't know what it is. It's just described to you, and then you go and find it, and then out of game you realize it's a fusion of Pokemon.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, right?
But, like, I think it was just the way that they were just rapid-fired one after the other. It drew away from the appeal of it, and, I don't know. It just didn't make it as fun as it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we forgot to mention is the loot that dropped after each and every one of these.
Oh boy, oh yes, the mystical, magical. Oh, by the way, these things are the embodiments of their Pokemon mixtures, and that's supposed to be super fun, except they were super broken.
Yes.
So, I remember the Blastoise sword was a two-handed sword. It had, like, two blades going out, and it had, like, an enchant spell on it that would essentially cast, like, a Hydro Pump at your opponent once per combat or once per day or whatever. It was pretty powerful. And this was a medium map,
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
so it wasn't supposed to be like intense, and like that was given out. It was like, okay, I guess that's the loot. Not all of it.
Yeah, he'd give one for everything we defeated.
The Venusaur Beedrill, he gave out. Was it a staff or was that a sword as well?
No, it was a lot of them were swords.
Yeah.
The Venusaur Beedrill one was a sword, and it very much looked like a stinger and just did crazy poison damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like crazy. Like we're not talking like, oh, this person feels some minor effects. No, like this thing. I want to say, like to put it in like D&D terms, this is like some like +3 like Vorpal poison dagger. Like this thing was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even think that exists, but it might as well have because that's what this sword was.
Yeah. I know James got the scythe off of this last one we fought. I don't remember what.
Did I?
Yeah, because it's not in circulation in the system because you died with it.
Oh, good, good.
I don't remember what it did because you died with it.
I barely remember any of these boss fights if we're being completely honest.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's tough to remember being so long ago. But those were the first kind of three, and I'm pretty sure there was like at least another good 5 or 6 more.
Yeah.
And then I think the last 3 are a little bit more clear in our minds because this is when people started to die.
Yep.
So the third last on this Pokemon Island was a mix of a Charizard and a Machamp.
And
Yep.
James, if you want to take this one.
Oh, am I explaining how I died already?
Yeah, probably for
Yeah.
the best that you do it.
Okay, cool. So, he's doing like Fire Blast sort of deal, right? I forget the Pokemon move where he just erupts Overheat, I think
Yeah,
it
I
was.
think that's it.
I don't know. Someone will correct me in the fucking comments.
Yeah, he
Someone
was
always
using
does.
actual Pokemon moves. For
Yeah, he was
attacks.
using Pokemon moves. I think it was Overheat.
Oh, no, what he was using at the time, I remember him saying it a bunch of times. Blast Burn.
Oh, even better. So he was using Blast Burn a bunch. And my rolls were shit. Sorry, my phone just buzzed in between my pants. It's fine. But he was using Blast Burn a bunch. And I was rolling shit. So I was getting damaged a lot. 40 damage a hit, basically. Oh, it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
And I don't remember why, but you got up nice and close.
Because I wanted to hit him. I
Yeah.
ran out of mana. I had a sword. So I was going to hit him to deal damage.
You know how you fight things.
Yeah. And I think after the first 240 hits, I didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
Personally.
That's fair.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on. This was like 5 months after I was done. After I was done playing D&D for a bit. So I came in his plan going, yeah, sure, I'll give it another go. And then he grappled me or something. I don't remember the exact details.
Mm-hmm.
All I remember is that he grappled me, and then he did Blast Burn again, and all that was left was my boots.
Yep.
by his description. And I was like, huh.
Just instant
Neat.
KO.
Yeah, in actual D&D terms, I think this would be like fighting like a fucking elder dragon at level like 4.
Yeah.
Basically, it was absolutely way too much for us to handle.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how we killed it. But
I think the only reason why we did kill it was because since it was distracted with that, it was always kind of pausing for little bits at a time as an effect of the blast burn, but never how much it should have for the amount of recoil it would cause to that thing's body.
Yeah.
So we just kind of took our opportunities and wailed on it while we could.
And we quietly mourned the loss of our companion, but I think honestly I found when a encounter is as ridiculous as that and someone dies, it almost takes away from the loss of a character because you're just like, well, that was dumb.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh damn, he just died, like he just took an arrow and he went down and like, ah, crap, it's gonna be harder to do the mission now. It's just like, oh well, that was stupid, sorry you lost a character that way.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's so dumb. And eventually we killed it,
Yep.
and we moved on to the second last, which was a...
Oh, sorry. Before that, that also dropped a weapon, which was the Charizard sword, which upon hit would just engulf the enemy in flames.
Was that on the effect roll 95 or higher, though?
That wasn't 95. It was like
Nope.
75 or something.
Oh no, it wasn't even that. It was something ludicrously low because it was just meant to do that. That
Yeah.
was its basic
Oh, yeah,
enchantment.
didn't
we
we-
nerfed it. We nerfed it.
Yeah, we
Because
nerfed
it stayed in circulation, but it was essentially it just engulfed your opponent in flames upon contact. It was horrendous in your map. If you were the DM, you would just fuck everything up.
Yeah.
Anyway, now moving on.
And the funny thing is like, if someone had used that against this DM, oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
So we moved on to the next thing, which was a Golbat Tentacruel.
That fight lasted 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Because being a combination of what those two things were, a bat and a jellyfish, squishy.
Yeah,
Lots of melee fighters. Kill it.
but like this again is an example of Dumbo's DMing style, where it's like either you're gonna have a hard time, or it's just yeah, you killed it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these are all supposed to be bosses, and yet we just all like thwacked this thing after it jumped out of the water, started flying and shooting poison at us, and you just killed it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, I probably would have preferred that for all these fights, because at least the characters wouldn't have died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's of any importance, this one dropped a bow that had poison enchanted to shoot faster.
Yeah.
But
And at this point, I'm actually kind of remembering, we had cleared the island of these kind of Pokemon things, and we were like, okay, we still haven't found this girl that we're supposed to be looking for. We still haven't found Beth. And we saw a cave entrance, which was where the last one was. So we walk into this cave entrance, and inside was the final kind of fusion Pokemon, which was a combination of Mewtwo and Missing No.
Which, for anybody with any kind of basic knowledge of Generation 1, is just the worst possible thing he could have done.
yeah.
Does someone want to explain Missing No?
So, Missing No, as is fairly well known at this point, is a glitch. It was never meant to exist, hence its actual name, Missing Number. It's just a garbage dump of data. So, when it mixed, in this case in the D&D universe, with Mewtwo, it made this horrifying eldritch abomination.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. All I remember is how fucking ridiculously overpowered he made this goddamn creature.
Oh yeah, it was on par with, you might as well have been fighting a god, because it teleported where it pleased. It just used all these crazy attacks that if it hit your armor was basically gone. If it hit you, you basically died.
It shot disintegrating bolts.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was... Why would you think that this is okay? After we just fought all those goddamn creatures, you're now including a boss, mandatory for completion of the map, that would just kill you upon touching you.
Yeah.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine.
No.
No.
So of course, our immediate course of action, Skylar being the tankiest of the group wearing full plate armor, grabs the girl, and we just book it. We just leave. We're not
Yeah.
even trying to deal with this thing anymore.
This is what pissed me off the fucking most about this map, okay? Here's this creature. We all completely admit we cannot take this creature. We need to take the girl, and we need to run, and we need to escape this thing. And he was just like, it just follows you. It teleports in front of you, it follows you, you get out of the cave, and it starts, like, following you. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, and from a D&D perspective, a challenge like that can be interesting. It can actually be very good to drive home the point of this thing is dangerous, but once you get to a certain distance, there's only so much it is willing to go after with no prize.
Yeah.
It had no reason to have this girl, as far as we know.
I'd like to know why this girl was even
Exactly.
there.
Why was she still alive?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like there was so much
Jurassic Park logic.
Yeah.
there was so much going on around this dynamic that didn't exist that it was really something. Again, once it realized there was no merit, it should have left us alone. But it still would have been again an interesting confrontation to just have to run from it. But it followed, it pursued, it persisted. We had to fight it. He made us fight it. There was absolutely no stopping it.
I think some of the scariest encounters are with something that is so strong you can't beat it.
Yep.
But you need to find a way around that and to get away from it while still completing your objective, which is I think what we thought this was. But instead it was, oh no, you need to fight this. We were all just absolutely shocked.
I remember we tried to use some ranged attacks on it, and it disintegrated them.
Yeah.
Which is why we were like, we can't fucking fight this thing.
Yeah.
We assumed that using our melee attacks would do the same thing. However, that's how we ended up killing it. Because we actually managed to fucking kill this thing.
Yeah.
That's how my character died. I remember
Yes.
I remember we were in a cave, and we were running out, because I think we ran out of this cave, ran into another cave.
Yeah, something.
It was a long chase.
But we were very close to exiting this cave now.
Mm-hmm.
We were getting really close to being away from it. And I forget exactly how Skylar lost control of the girl, but she ended up with Ace for a moment. And Ace had rolled fairly poorly in that moment to get away from this thing.
Yep.
And so
It disintegrated your arm first, didn't it?
Leg.
Yes.
Leg.
It got my leg.
it got his
Which
leg.
is when I was just like, okay, we're in a cave. Yeah, my leg is now being disintegrated because I was hit with an attack. Fantastic. I'm going to die. I'm gonna kill this thing. It is the only thing I can do. So, this thing was coming up behind me. My character was essentially, it threw things. It doesn't matter if it was a card, if it was a sword, he would just fucking throw it. So I ended up throwing I think it was the Blastoise sword, because I won it earlier, and I just hucked this thing at it, and it was just coming up the cave after me. I believe it just disintegrated the damn thing. And then I turned, and I slashed at it with just another sword I had. And I hit it in the leg, because I rolled really high. I remember it toppling to the ground, and I remember trying to impale it. And I remember him disintegrating my arm then.
Wonderful.
Yep. And so I was just like, okay, I still try to impale it. And this is how the thing died. It essentially kamikazed us. It's like, it fell to the ground, I was about to stab it in the head, so it was just releasing like a nova of disintegration. And it started disintegrating itself, me, and the cave.
So the two of us kind of booked it out of there.
With the girl and...
The two of us that were left. Skylar, of course, literally just grabbed the girl and started running, and when the healer almost tried to stay behind, he grabbed them too, and then they just kind of left.
Yeah. And see, if we had have hit it with a couple of ranged attacks and then it kamikazed, that would have been a great encounter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, this thing's dangerous, but it's volatile. It's gonna blow up, you gotta get out. Like, there's so many good stories like that, right?
Yeah.
So, that would have been fantastic, but instead we got another one-hit KO kind of scenario, which was absolutely ridiculous.
And in a map that took us, I want to say, no more than an hour and a half, 2 hours, we lost 2 characters.
Yeah.
Just outright. They were gone. There was no bringing them back. There was nothing we could do. They were gone.
You want to know the best part about all that? Regardless of it disintegrating itself, burying the cave in me, it still dropped a fucking sword.
Yes. A sword that allows your character to teleport twice daily. Blink, a spell that, or is it blur? I think it is blur. Yeah,
The
allows
instant
you
dodge.
to like instantly dodge any incoming attack, twice daily. Or there was one other thing, and I can't remember what it was.
It was a lower power version of the disintegration blast.
Oh.
Yeah.
One.
You didn't get to disintegrate things with it, but you did like a fuck ton of damage.
Yeah.
And we gave that to an NPC for another sword?
Yeah, that was later on.
Much later on, but
we
that
still-
is definitely something we did. Because we kind of didn't care anymore. We just wanted to be rid of said weapons.
Yeah, that's the worst part is that we went through this monstrosity of a map. And we didn't even want the stuff we got because it was so broken. It was so overpowered. Just the map was complete garbage. And I can say no one has tried to implement Pokemon from that point on.
Not yet.
Which is really sad because there's so much potential.
I've thought about it, but every time I think about it, I've thought about this horrendous fucking island.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been like, I think everyone else would cringe if I tried to do it.
I don't know. It's been a long time. I don't know if the wounds have healed yet, and
Yeah.
only time will tell.
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening, everyone. This has been the Dungeon Hour. Take care.
Goodbye!
Goodbye.